Hi guys, welcome to the Citizen channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. Please, if you are new to this channel, please push that subscribe button. We do everything City, past and present here on these little vlogs, so I do try and inform and entertain, and there's some links on screen as well for Facebook and Twitter where I do post loads of City stuff. So if you follow a friend me on there, I do check every few days and follow and friend everyone back. And if you do get a chance, please have a check out my film and TV channel as well, which I try and inform and entertain on there, and all the latest films and TV drama here in the UK and from around the world. So if you can check that out, that will be fantastic. Anyway, hope you enjoy today's feature. Welcome to the preview shows. We look forward to the trip to the AMEX. Yes, at Brighton and Hove Albion versus Manchester City, of course, on the 23rd of October 2021, 5:30 p.m. kickoff. If I see you there, come and say hello. I should be down there. I'm planning on being down there as long as I catch my coach, get out of work quick enough, get showered and get over to get the coach. So come and say hello if you see me in and around the ground. That would be fantastic. Or even on the coach. Who knows? I have no idea who's on the coach. I've never been on this one before, but let's look forward to this. And this little preview of the game, a very, very interesting game, to be honest with you. On match day 9, of course, we'll be looking at Brighton, how they're doing. They're doing pretty well. This is third versus fourth, isn't it, in City's favour, or fourth versus third, if you look at it from the Brighton being the home team. The match is being shown on Sky Sports, so if you want to watch it on there, and a full match replay, of course. I think there's highlights from about 9:30 p.m. on the City website, and of course on City Plus, there's usually a full match highlights at midnight. So let's hope from midnight. So let's hope it's worth watching. I mean, most of us obviously we're not going to be home unless we live nearby. Of course, unless we live near Brighton. Of course, we're not going to be back home by midnight. Are we on Saturday evening? That's for sure. The ref, is Kevin Friend is the referee this week with his linos, Adrian Holmes and Simon Long. Fourth official is Simon Hooper. VAR, we have Mr. Paul Turney, and assistant VAR, we've got Konstantin Hatzidakis. Previous league meetings at Brighton's place. Well, we played 11, won 5, drawn 2 and lost 4. So the Brighton have done very, very well. I mean, when we first started playing Brighton at the Goldstone ground, we had a terrible record, not very good at all. We've scored 20 goals and let 16 in, so very close on the old stats. Please check out my little history feature, okay, my History Boys vlog. It looks back to the 3rd of October 1981, 40 years ago as I'm recording this. Who'd have thunk it? When John Bond City, of course, visited the Goldstone ground on a wet and windy day. Please check that out. An interesting game, to say the least. Odds, look at the odds to win the match. Please, I don't condone gambling. When the fun stops, stop. City are 4-11 on. The draw is 4-1. You can get that price if you shop around. And if you shop around, you can get, if you fancy Brighton winning this, like as they did last time we played them at their place, although it was different circumstances, of course. It's 15-2 with Sky if you fancy a Brighton win, but generally it's about 7-1, between 13-2 and 7-1. As I said, please also, as well as my History Boys feature, if you're interested in that side of it, obviously check out my little odd shows feature as well. Obviously, that's I try and sort of give some basis for any sort of prices and any value out there. So, and please, if you are having a little go for fun yourself, please let me know what you're doing, so and put it in the comments so I can have a check out as well. Don't forget, I do bets for charity, and we're last 4 games, I think we put money in the pot, so let's hope that continues. Right, City, Pep Guardiola's preview, of course, is as normal before a Saturday game on about 1:30 p.m. UK time on Friday, Friday the 22nd of October, it'll be, won't it? So, so you can go across to the live on matncity.com, or some other guys on YouTube obviously show it as well. Confidence should be high after that impressive performance in Brugge. I'll say it the way they say it. I've been saying Bruges, which I've always said for years, since the 70s, but let's go for Brugge. I quite like the sound of little Brugge, so a great performance in Brugge, of course, which put that sort of less great performance, although a winning performance against Burnley back into the background, didn't it? We hadn't done too well there, but it's nice to come out of the Brugge game with a nice, plenty of confidence. If all fit, it's an interesting one, this. I'll give you my City 11 in a minute, but it's strange. I've been looking at Brighton and checking Brighton. I think the team that played against Brugge probably could be good enough to do it again if they're all fit after that match. But it'd be very, very interesting. Don't forget, we've got a Carabao Cup. It's our cup, nobody else's. Got a Carabao Cup game the following Wednesday, of course, where he can perhaps afford to rest 2 or 3 of his, if you like, key players that played against Brugge if they're going to play again. But we'll talk about my 11 in a bit. But I have put one together, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's 2 or 3 interesting changes to that, to be honest with you, with the way Brighton play. They were obviously our opponents. But if we play to our strengths, I suppose we'll go with a very similar team, won't we? As far as Brighton, talking about Brighton, without this injury-wise, they've got Steve Zalti is out certainly for a few weeks with an injury. And yes, I mean, I feel so sorry for this guy, but I have no idea why teams take him on apart from a pay-per-game basis, because Danny Welbeck is out again for several months. It's such a sad shame. It really is, but it's just one of those things, and you do get players like that, unfortunately. And even with the technology we've got today, he just seems to have problem after problem. So great shame. So certainly he won't be available. I think Adam Webster is back from an injury. He's had a thigh injury, and Tariq Lamptey also is back after a spell out with a hamstring problem as well. But Graham Potter's side are 4th in the table, 2 points and 1 place behind us, of course, in 3rd. And they've only lost 1 of their 8 Premier League games. So it's very interesting. I mean, at home so far in the league, they beat Watford 2-0. The game they lost was at home to Everton, a 2-0 win for Everton. But they beat Leicester 2-1, which is an excellent result. And they drew with Arsenal. But really, they should have perhaps beaten Arsenal. Although, it's, as the Arsenal fans say themselves, it's not that clever, is it, to beat Arsenal? But hey, there you go. I'm only saying what they say. They certainly tightened up at the back. I mean, last season they do play good football, don't they? And they certainly tightened up at the back since last season and got goals. They kept the goal tally against to only 5 in 8 games. That's pretty impressive. I think it's only Chelsea and City who've got a better goal against average. But they've only scored 8. But it's not for the want of trying, to be honest with you. It's not as though they're not creating chances. They're having a bit of... and I do like the strikers at Brighton, but say they've only scored 8. But they are playing some great football. And they've had a little bit more. I think they were physical last season, but I think they've gone up a little notch on physicality as well. They're a big team, the big lads, don't get me wrong. And it's sort of tough. They've toughened up a little bit in defence and in midfield. I mean, it wasn't particularly their fault, but they had 5 players booked in the last game against Norwich City at Carrow Road. So, yeah, it was a bit of a feisty encounter. I think Norwich had 3 booked as well. But, they are physical. And I did notice that last season in the game we played against them as well. You know, they do have a lot of skill, but they've got some big lads, and there is a physicality about them, which is good, which will stand them in good stead going forward. And Potter normally plays a 3-5-2 formation, but I think what impresses me about Brighton when I've seen bits and pieces of them is they do work hard for each other. If the defence does something good, a bit like our guys, they fist pump and they chest pump each other and all that sort of thing. But they do get up and down the pitch very well and support each other. So physicality-wise, we'll have to match them. And obviously we don't particularly have the physicality. But players like Rodri, this is a sort of interesting game. This is where all the plaudits he's been getting recently, deservedly so. This is a sort of game where we'll see what Rodri, I think, is really made of. And if he comes out of this, in good fettle, then I think we can say, yeah, Rodri's perhaps arrived a little bit. But it's normally sort of the game you perhaps put Ferner in the past, but obviously I can't see that happening. Although if he did do that, I think it'd lessen us from a skillful attacking point of view, unfortunately. But I'd be interested to see. I mean, for the neutral, I think it'd be great. I think for the neutral fan, it'd be great. I think it'd be a bit nervy. I think the Brighton fans will enjoy it, don't get me wrong. I think a bit like, obviously, we were a little bit nervous about Brugge, weren't we? But we came through that all right. So there's absolutely no problem at all with this City team. Although physically we're not as big as Brighton, this team has shown that they'll fight for it, they'll go for it, they'll press, they'll do everything right. So I say for the neutral, I think it'd be great. And I don't expect a goal fest, although if City do perhaps get an early lead, or even Brighton get an early lead, that could be dangerous. But if City get an early lead, I think it might open up the game even more. It could be I don't want an end-to-end thing because I don't want us to dominate. But It could be so, but Brighton, yes, they've been, as I said before, it's not for the want of trying to score goals, but they've been very, very, but not poor. They've been unlucky. Don't get me wrong; they've been unlucky in front of goal. They've had shots blocked, etc., etc. But the finishing, I mean, in the last two games, I think this is even better than City's count. To be honest with you, in the last two games, they've had an incredible 36 shots at the opponent's goal or attempts at the opponent's goal, and just 5 on target. All right, that doesn't allow for blocks and stuff like that, but 36 chances, that is pretty impressive. That is pretty scary, to be honest with you, going down to their place. I mean, they played Arsenal in a horrible day. It was wet and miserable, and, chance after chance, you'll see it was either saved or went over the bar or wide or hit the woodwork, etc., etc. So it's certainly, I don't want to put us off on this one, but it's certainly no easy task. And if they start converting more of them chances, then we will be in serious trouble, and hopefully not going to find that aspect of the skill this game. They're not going to be able to put those chances away. Let's hope they carry on when they do get the chances, and they don't take them. We can only hope for that. But as long as we take ours, that's the thing. We've got to take our chances as well. We've got to be very clinical in this one. I think we scored plenty of goals in Brugge, but let's be honest about it. It could have been double figures if we took our good chances as well, not just talking half chances. Yeah, so they are a big, tough side, plenty of skill, and this is a really big challenge for City. I think we'll have to be our very best yet again, and I'm sure we can be for 3 points out of this one. We can't afford to do a Burnley. We can't afford to be that lethargic. We have to be at it from the off, and I think we'll know more after 10 or 15 minutes what sort of City we're going to get in this one. Hopefully it'll be the confident, buzzing City that we like to see. Especially at the back, I mean, Diaz, Laporte and Walker. I mean, Brighton are a big team at the back. There'll be crosses coming in. They'll be good from set pieces. We need Diaz, Laporte and Walker. And, of course, Ederson is not the greatest at bossing his box, is he? But we need those guys to step up. Plenty of fist pumps and chest pumps from our guys, hopefully, that when we stop things and do things, that'll be great. I hope City can open them up early and rattle them. It would be a bit more of a comfortable scoreline. But at the moment, I'm predicting just a 2-1 win for City. I'll be happy with that. I'll be more than happy with a 2-1 win for City. So there you go. Let's have a look. Their team. I think, as I said, their starting 11. Let's have a crack at that. I don't think Lamptey could be put in, but I think it's perhaps a bit early for Webster and Lamptey. I think they might be on the bench in this, and I think he'll stick more or less with the team that's sort of played against Arsenal and Norwich. So that means it's be Sanchez, Burn, Dunk, Duffy. Sanchez, Burn, Dunk, Duffy, Veltman, Cucurella, Moda, Lallana, Grob, Maupay and Troussard. Although 2 or 3 of those players didn't play great in the last game, but I think Potter's pretty loyal, and as I said, with those other guys not quite ready to come back. But as I say, I think that looks interesting. City 11, yeah. I mean, I'm basically before I give the 11. I mean, I think did Mahrez do enough to keep his place? All right, we're going to lose a bit of that track backability, aren't we? If that's a word, with Mahrez, who tends to do stay. He can do it, but as long as he is doing it, we're all right. But Gundogan, could he be considered for this as well? That might be a bit better. Put him in for this game. And of course, Jesus' work rate. Have you put Mahrez ahead of Jesus? I mean, Jesus' work rate is superb. Mahrez has played well against Brighton in the past. I think Jesus has played well against Brighton in the past. So it's quite interesting. And as I said, Fernandinho, you never know. He might have a bit more steel in there, but I think he'll be positive. I think Pep will be positive. I think Pep will show confidence in the team that played at Brugge, which does include Mahrez. As I say, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't, but I think he'll stick with that team. I think he'll go for Ederson, Walker, Diaz, Laporte, Cancelo, Rodri, Bernardo, KDB, Foden, Grealish and Mahrez. As I said, if I can get 8 or 9 of those, I'll be quite happy. But Pep, he'll always come up with something quirky, won't he? We'll talk about quirky stats in a minute, but it always comes up with something a little bit quirky. Let me know what you think anyway, guys. As I say, there are 2 or 3 borderline players there that it wouldn't surprise me if they made their way into that 11. But I'll stick with that for now, and I'll be quite happy if we get 8 or 9 right. Let me know what you think. Yeah, before we go, just a couple of things. The quirky stats, of course, against Brighton and Hove Albion. We've never lost. Obviously, we lost our last one. We've never lost fingers crossed, back-to-back league meetings with Brighton, overall losing just 4 of 22 previous games against the Seagulls. We won 14, drawn 4 and lost 4, but we never lost back-to-back games with them, so that'll be interesting. Brighton have scored more goals in the last game against City, which was the 3 against 10 Man City, don't forget, last season, at the end of the season when it was all pretty much done and dusted for City. They scored more goals in that match, 3, than they had in their previous 8 games against us. So hopefully we'll keep that score down and they won't improve on that. Between them, of course, between us, City and Brighton have faced fewest shots on target in the Premier League this season. So that bodes well for the midfielders doing the job as well as defenders, doesn't it? Brighton have been shown more yellow cards than any other Premier League this season. That sort of backs up my physicality, a bit more physical this season. 22. No players picked up more bookings than that defender Veltman, who obviously moves into midfield as well in a 3-5-2, but is quite capable of coming back as well. He's got 4 of those 22 yellow cards. And Kevin De Bruyne has scored in consecutive Premier League games for the first time since September 2020. So there you go. Only once before has a Belgian scored in 3, but I've got him down for a anytime goal scorer. So I'm hoping he scores in this one and breaks that little record. He did that in September, October 2015, scored in 3 consecutive appearances. He's never done that before. And finally, Matchday Live, of course, starts 1 hour ahead of kickoff and continues at half-time and a bit of extra time. So if you like to tune in to that, obviously I won't be, but if you like to tune in for that, alongside the lovely, wonderful Natalie Pike, we have Paul Dickoff and Michael Brown in the studio to watch that. So there you go. As I say, I'll be travelling back after the game, victorious, let's hope, but it'll be nearer dinner time before there's a match report, as you can appreciate. Just a matter of so if I can actually, when I get home, I'll go straight to bed, or if I'm still buzzing from a victory, I might be able to write it up and then I'll do the recording, obviously on the Sunday lunchtime. So keep your eyes and give me your support. That would be wonderful. With the player ratings, of course, from the Manchester Evening News as well. And as I said, don't forget to check out my other 2 Brighton things, my Odd Show and the History Boys. I really enjoyed the History Boys this time. I do enjoy them every time, but the History Boys this time was excellent. So please give that a watch if you've got a spare 12, 15 minutes, however long it lasts. I'm not too sure. But thanks for your support. And any comments, please let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. What are we going to do rest of the day? Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. To meet here again on the Citizen channel. Or perhaps check out my film and TV channel. I try and inform and entertain on there as well. Either way, wherever it is, I only ask one thing, don't I? You know what it is. Stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.